Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. This panel features the best of the best in retail automotive. Want to welcome back to the roundtable Darryl Terrell, Michael Moore, and Shawn Butler. This panel is the Retention and Growth Opportunities in 2023 panel. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having me. Thank you for
thanks
having
for
me.
having me, man.
Thanks, Ted. Appreciate you, man.
You gentlemen have really done a lot in retail, and you got a lot of attention, a lot of people watching you. And you're great leaders, and people, realize that, and they resonate to that. And Darryl, we got a great year last year, okay? And you've been working hard on your team and what you've put together there. Talk to us a little bit, Darryl, about what you see here ahead, and what some of the things that we should be focusing on.
So I really believe that our biggest area that we need to focus on is customer retention. It's all about getting that customer to come back, not just to the service department, but to buy a new car, purchase a used car, and just create this circle of life in a dealership. So it's all about retaining customers in an overall dealership, not just the service department. And you got to do things to help support that. Particularly us in service, we focus on a rock solid express process. We want to get our car there now in a fast, convenient way. We want to offer the best pricing, and we want to have a quick turnaround time where the customers get in and out quickly.
Wow, that turnaround time is never been more important than right now. And you know what, Darryl? I hear a lot of people at this event talking about bringing everything together. It's not just all these silos, they say, service separate from sales. Talk to us about that, because that seems to be, pretty important to a lot of people right now.
Yes, it's extremely important, man, because in a service department, it's all about keeping that customer in your dealership and retaining them. And then after you retain them for their service visits, the ultimate goal is to get them to trade that car in, where you have a UVI going through service again, and then you sell them a new car that comes back through service. So we gotta play together. Coming into this new picture, we gotta all play together on the same team. And service, sales, used cars, we're all one team. And I worked in dealerships where everybody, separate, and they point, they go in different directions. But in order for a dealership to efficiently work correctly and properly, we got to be on one team and play on one team. And every person in your department got to understand that, from service to sales, and we got to work together. And that's how you ultimately win a game.
I love it. Michael Moore, you spoke at the last event, and I tell you, I could just listen and listen and listen to you. You are a wealth of knowledge, my friend. Talk to us about what's ahead, retention and growth opportunities this year in 2023, and some of the things that you're working on.
Well, I definitely agree with Darryl with growing. Basically, it being about our customer retention. I think really for me, the biggest area of opportunity is really the people, um, the staff, making sure that I grow each individual that I have here with me in this dealership, and that we basically make sure that they have all the tools they need to get to where they need to be. And to me, that kind of trickles down to our customers, as far as helping our customers to want to come here to do business with us, and see us more so as family. That's the one thing I like about the dealership where I am. A lot of the customers here are long time customers, and they come in and it's almost like a family atmosphere, and it's not so much of a real hustle and bustle and grind, or something to where, there's these walls up between us and our customers. So it's one of the things that I really want to focus on is just growing the people, and just making sure that they get to where they need to go, because that's what really kind of what drives the business to me. It's just making sure that our people are good, and they're in a good position to be successful. You know. But this year, I think 2023 is not going to be an easy year. A lot of fixed departments, they had record years and stuff like that through COVID, which is great. But now, it's gonna really go back to normal. And what I mean by the normal is basically you have to do a good job. You're not going to be just servicing customers out of a water hose, the way it's just coming down on you. You're going to have to actively work to get customers in. You're going to have to actively work to keep them. So to me, the best thing to do that, outside of the process is just the people and making sure you have the right people in place, and those people are confident in what they're doing, and they're happy about their job and the environment that they're working in.
Shawn, what do you think? 2023, tougher year ahead than what we've experienced in the last year or two?
Sure, I agree with both of these gentlemen and very valid points. Along the similar lines, I've really been focusing on finding people's why that work for me, because I think that if we have an extensive employee retention, it creates a cohesive atmosphere that pervades the whole dealership, right? If everybody's hi, hey, how you doing, smiles everywhere you go, then the customers feel that, right? Whether they're in the sales department, the service department, or standing at the parts window, they can sense the atmosphere. And if you're taking care and meeting people at their need, it's different, right? Some people want recognition. Some people want money, education, more time with their family. That's okay. Meet them at their need and they will excel and exceed, right? So I'm good with that. And that's what we're focusing on. Here, we started a retention program, a bonus program for our technicians that we're going to be paying out on December 15th for every hour they flag, depending on their years of service. I'm going to hand out some pretty big checks this year, as just a thank you for being here and your years of service. And I know the guys were blown away when I put it out there. We've done it before, and the techs look forward to it, right? We also, when we bought the dealership, we didn't take away anybody's built up vacation time. There's a lot of long-term employees. We're still going to pay them for their 2 and 3 weeks off that they earned under the previous ownership. So that's going a long way towards them too, and then we're doing the used car retention, right? Like Darryl was talking about, you got to have the retention of all departments. I preach all the time during my cookouts and our meetings. I have the whole dealership for a meeting in the shop at least once a month. And I go, when people come into the dealership, they don't see the parts department. They don't see the used car sales, the sales department, the service department. They see Bristol Honda, Johnson City Acura, Johnson City Mazda. They're not differentiating. It's all one picture to them. And unless all teams are playing and up to their level, it's obviously going to bring the other teams down, right? You need all four cylinders, cranking out maximum capacity to be a successful dealership. And we have to retain those customers, get creative, right? We've got these little key tags we're putting out there for every fourth oil change is free. To promote retention, we're doing the first year of maintenance free on any car you purchase here, whether it's new, used, or whatever, to promote that retention. And let's put the focus on big stops to retain that customer for sales, like Darryl was talking about down the road, because we treated them so well. They just want to keep coming back here. And we're doing the other car in the driveway. Chris McPhillips is big on that. Yeah. Asking people what else they're driving at their house. Why don't you bring that one here too? We'll give you a free oil change. Bring it in. Whatever it takes.
Shawn, we talked about it, with new car volume being off. And I think you said at your location, same thing, new car volume is off. You're having to do a lot of this stuff and you're making it happen there on the fixed ops side. And like Darryl talked about, you're doing that for the entire dealership, with that fourth, next time they come in for the oil change free and some of the things that you just described as well.
Well, you think about it. By the time they get to the fourth oil change, what's that, 18 months, 2 years down the road, they're going to need other services in between. You got parts, you got filters, you got wiper blades, you got tires, you got alignments. You got another opportunity to sell them another car, even if they need one for another family member while they're walking around. It just creates opportunity.
Darryl, you've talked to us before about your people, and you came up as a technician as well. Take us through some of that, because in order to have the customer coming back, we've got to keep our employees, like Shawn is describing as well. And I know you're a big advocate on doing things the right way.
Yes, I'm extremely huge advocate on doing things the right way, and definitely just training my employees and help coach them throughout the process. So I like to educate my employees on that. Look, every single car out there needs air filters, needs cabin filters, needs tires, needs wiper blades. Every single car out there on the road needs it, and it's up to us to do a rock solid multi-point inspection and have them do the work at our dealership to retain them. Because I mean, if they don't do the work here, they're going to do it somewhere else. And we got to realize that, and we got to be able to capture every opportunity possible to keep them in-house within the dealership. And that's how you retain customers ultimately is, if somebody's driving a car and it has bad wiper blades, you want to make sure that they know they have bad wiper blades, and do the right thing. So when it rains, they can see clearly. And doing that, taking care of the customer, once you take care of the customer, it takes care of everything else, man. It makes your job so much easier. So it's all about doing the right thing. Just teaching your employees, what to look for, doing proper multi-point inspections, and then the results come. The results come. It's not a hard process, man. It's just a process you got to follow and have a rock solid process and execute it every time.
Multi-point inspection, where you just mentioned about checking the wiper blades. Customer picks up their car for service. They came in for check engine light, oil change. They pick up the car, they take it home, they put the wipers on the way home or the first time it rains, and they say, you know what, I was just at the dealership and they didn't even ask me about the wiper blade. It's the first thing they think about, right?
Right.
Darryl, talk to us about 2023. What do you think? Tougher year ahead than what we've been used to recently?
Most definitely. 2023, the growth for my department is to cut down our wait time in our express department. When I first got to the store, I mean, I'm just going to lay it out there, man. It was about a 2-hour wait. It was ridiculous. So we got down to about an hour wait now. I want to be able to take any customer that walks in that door in and out within an hour time frame. And I want to be able to take more volume in also. So instead of doing, say, 6 cars, I want to be able to do 12 cars and have them all out within an hour. Whatever time of day, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to be convenient for the customer on the customer's time and not on our time. So that's my goal for 2023 for me and my department, is to be able to be convenient for the customer on their time.
Darryl, what were some of the things you did to speed up that time internally? Because that's not easy to do, right? Take it from 2 hours to what you just described now, with Express being such a big part of your business as well.
Correct. Where I've seen the most growth is staffing. When I first got here, we had 4 loop technicians. Now we have a team of 8 loop technicians. So we doubled staffing. You double your capacity, and the more staffing you have, the more you could support your customers. So I'm looking to add another maybe 2 to 3 loop techs. And then also with growth, these loop techs, when they do good and they excel, they have a chance to move up as a technician. I know Michael Moore started the loop tech. I started the loop tech, and look at us now. So I mean, the growth is endless.
I love it.
Yep.
Michael Moore, talk to us a little bit about that. Some of the things that you see ahead. Darryl's talking about express service being such a big part of their business as well.
Yep. Well, I think the biggest thing is a lot of dealers and a lot of shops are going to realize that. I mean, we live in kind of like, I call it the Amazon society, where you can order your groceries, you can order your whatever all online, and you can sit in the comfort of your own home. And so the status quo of someone coming to your dealership and being okay with waiting 2 hours, like Darryl was saying they were at one point when he started for an oil change, that's not going to work. The last couple of years, dealers were able to get away with it and still service and take care of customers, just because the options weren't, may not have been the best. But now that we're sort of back into the norm where staffing is getting better, the dealers that realize that and come up with processes to help the customer and be convenient, to get rid of those bottlenecks for the customer, not just our bottlenecks in the shop, but the bottlenecks for the customer is going to be the ones that succeed. So if you got a choice between coming here to where we're about 45 minutes to an hour wait on the oil change, you're going to come here. I had a customer complain about an hour wait. She wanted to be in and out in 30 minutes. So what did we do? I heard her saying it in the lane. I got out of my office. I went back there. I grabbed the lube tech. We got her in 30. We got her car right in. We got her in and out in 30 minutes. And it's one of those deals to where you have to set the tone, because your staff and everybody in the dealership needs to understand that we're not here for us, right? We're here because customers coming in. So we got to make things convenient. We gotta eliminate their problems. We're here to solve their problems. So at the end of the day, the dealers that really understand that and put in processes and willing to go the extra mile for the people the clients coming in the door, we're going to be the ones that succeed. So where I just think the last year, 2 years during COVID, a lot of dealers were able to get away with just the status quo. I think the status quo for 2023 is going to be a lot different. So it's going to be about taking care of your staff, making sure that these guys are happy, they're ready to go, they're ready to run. Like Shawn said, you're understanding their why, and they're willing to put that extra work in, because that's what's going to be a big deal, because you're going to ask them, we're going to need them to take care of our clients. But how well are they going to take care of their clients if we're not taking care of them and giving them what they need? So I think that's really going to be the biggest thing. I mean, because clients, I had a couple of clients in the lane earlier, and I'm in the DC metro area, so it's a lot of government workers and stuff like that. So a lot of the conversations go to politics, a lot of the conversations go to recession and things like that people are afraid of. So we're customers or clients of other businesses, so just like our clients when they come to us. So I understand some of their fears and the things that will have them apprehensive to do business with us. But so we have to make sure we are upfront, accountable, taking care of them, eliminating their bottlenecks. I had a client, she was joking, she said, hey, would y'all come and pick my vehicle up and and service it and bring it back to me? She thought it was a joke. I told her, absolutely. I have 6 porters. She lives 5 miles down the road. I said, we'll come get it. I said, just give me a day, a heads up. But in my brain, like, if that's what she needs to do business with us, absolutely, we're going to do anything that we can to take care of her. So I think that's going to be the challenge of a lot of people, and a lot of shops and a lot of dealerships. Because I mean, it's not like just on the fixed side. It's going to be the same for sales. It's going to be the same for sales. Like, what are they doing differently? Are they doing online? Are they doing all the different things that people are going to need? These are the talks that I have, with the owner of this store. Me and Damon, we speak about these things all the time, about how what's separating Nissan and Bowie. What's separating us from, in the DC metro area. I have 5 other Nissan dealers within a 15-mile radius. Mm-hmm. But we see more customers every quarter than any other Nissan dealer, because we're going to take care of you. Like I said, it's a family atmosphere. You come here and we're going to take care of you. All the clients know our advisors by name. We got salesmen that's been here since the dealership opened. I have a couple of advisors been here 8 years. My service manager been here 9 years. My lane manager's been here 5 years. So the clients know these guys. So when they come in, it's a family atmosphere. They're getting taken care of. We're going above and beyond. So those are the things that are going to be a challenge for a lot of people. And they're going to have to figure out how to get over that hump.
Michael Moore, I always learn so much from you. I got I end up with a full page and a half or more of notes just every time that you start. You talked about being an active manager, clearly, right? And that's very refreshing. Shawn, how do you feel about that? 2023, as far as the opportunities that we're going to have to be very visible. I know you are, okay, but even more visible, in terms of what we're doing with our employees and our customers.
Yeah. So, I mean, like these fellows we're talking about with the Express and being in the lane and being accessible, right, to your employees. How many managers today still, you can't find them? They prairie dog looking in and out of their, of their offices and stuff. Not me. I'm in the shop multiple times a day. I'm out in the lane greeting customers. I'm bagging, tagging. I'm the best porter we got sometimes. I don't care, whatever it takes. I got to shuttle somebody. I'm driving. If I've got to call in an extended warranty so you can help another customer standing there, I'll call. It's just whatever it takes. Those guys were talking about Express. You got to remember the stores when we purchased these stores here, neither one of them even had an Express department. 2-hour waits were normal. And I was like, no. So we actually have the manufacturer certified elite status for Express in all 3 brands now. And our times have gone from 90 minutes, and this is according to customer surveys, to now 72% are saying they're under 45 minutes, and 50% are saying it's under 30 minutes, right? So providing that convenience factor and meeting the customer at their needs. And I even advertise no appointment necessary. We'll still get you out in under 90 minutes without an appointment. But if you have an appointment, my goal is to get you 30 to 45 minutes. And so we're getting there. You know, like Michael said, we've picked up cars. You know, I mean, if that's what it takes, you know, everything's kind of far away around here. Everything's 20 minutes away. So within reason, right? 5-10 miles, you know, we can do that. So, I mean, we're just willing to do whatever it takes. And you got to be willing to put in the hard work that other people won't to differentiate yourself. The walkarounds, right? How lazy did we get when we it's like shooting fish in a barrel? People come in like sales, getting fat off of these, you know, super high retention, and the markups in the books. Well, what happened? And all of a sudden, the last 2 months, the used car market has new car addendums gone right off the window. There's an abundance of cars on the lot, right? So you've got to double down and get back to basics. You got to do that warm meet and greet, as a great guy's videos that I've watched many times starts out with, maybe on this panel. And you know, you're touching the wiper blade. You're not devaluing the car. You're personalizing the service, but at the same time, you're making some observations. You got to update that customer constantly. We're using things like True Video. We're using the tools that may be contained within X time. We're doing follow-up phone calls. Big retention piece. Not using the automated service, having a live person call and follow up with the customers. Our CSE scores have gone through the roof since we actually started making sure that within 24 hours that customer was contacted, make sure they understood everything on their MPI. If they had any questions, they were answered, and we asked for the survey, right? But you just got to really get back to the basics of communication, and some more communication.
Shawn, when you're the leader and you're communicating, you also learn a whole lot from the customers and your employees. Darryl, I had to drop off a car at a body shop last month, and I went in the morning and, you know, dropped the car off, and I needed a ride back home. And, you know, they've got a couple of porters, right, who drive people back and forth, Darryl. And so I had to wait like 20 minutes, and they finally had a ride for me. And the gentleman drove me back, I guess, in, you know, one of their cars. And I looked at the gentleman who's driving. I looked at how he's dressed. I looked at his shoes, his clothes. And I realized this is no porter. This is probably the owner, right? And I asked him that. I said, "You own the place, don't you?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." And so when we struck up a conversation, all right? But he told me he wants to learn from their customers and from their employees. He's like you guys. He's actively involved in everything they do, and he wants to hear it firsthand from the customer. And Darryl, you know, the three of you gentlemen are very active in, and that's one of the things that stands out to me.
Yes, I really believe in that customers, they're going to tell you what's going on. I love reading surveys back, the good surveys and the bad surveys. And I use all of them as a learning experience for my employees. If we have a bad survey that comes back and we didn't meet the customer's expectations, it's not a moment to scold somebody. It's a coaching moment. You call them in the office, we go over the survey, and we see what we have done better. And my guys, my advisors, they're real receptive to that. And sometimes you get my advisor, they're coming over there, "You know what, Darryl, you're right. I know I could have did this. Look, next time it ain't gonna happen again." And so look, we share all the positive survey. We have a text message thread that my dealership does, and we text every survey that comes in to all of the employees, and we cheer up the good ones, and we coach the bad ones. And that's all about the customer's experience. And you got to listen to the customer feedback, because they're gonna tell you exactly what's going on. And that's the most valuable information, is the customer feedback.
Well, Michael Moore, let's talk a little bit about that feedback, all right? Because you're great with your people and with the customers and things you've been describing. How important is that to you?
I mean, it's the most important thing. You know, I thought an hour on the wait time was good for the oil change until I had a customer complain about it. I said, okay, well, we got to look at this hour wait time, man. Like, what do we have to do to get it, you know, this still be able to provide that service, the proper service, and try to get it shorter. I mean, because like I said, ultimately it's about taking care of them. And every other part of a person's life is, you know, it's quick. You know, whatever you want, you can just order it, you can get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, my wife has me doing Instacart. I'm ordering groceries. Like, I never would have thought I'd have somebody bringing groceries to the house, you know. So I mean, you got to think. So everybody else is using these services, but we still in the service industry in a lot of places still business as usual. So you have to listen to them, and you have to we have to listen to them. We have to figure out, what can we do to compete? What can we do to compete, not just for their business, but for them to be an advocate, for them to be an advocate. To me, I love, like, I went to Walmart the other day and I had my shirt on and Nissan and Bowie on it. I got stopped by like 3 people in the store that work there, telling me about they bring their car here, the service they get, how they like it. They called out their service advisors by name, and the first thing they say, you must be new. Well, yeah, I've been there like, 4 months, 3 months now, but to them I'm new because they've been coming here for years.
Yeah.
So that's what you want. You want people to be advocates for, for your dealership, for your department, for your employees. I always tell my advisors, say, man, you customer collectors. So you can't collect customers if you're not listening to them. You can't collect customers if you're not taking care of them. So the feedback, we get from them is huge. I'm a big believer in Carl Sewell. I read that book, Customers for Life. And I know one of the things he did was, when he started putting his own surveys in his waiting areas, and basically it was forget the manufacturer and their surveys. He had his own to try to figure out what did his customers want. What was going to cause them to be an advocate, what was going to cause them to be customers for life. So I'm a big proponent of that. Having customers give you feedback, honest feedback, anonymous feedback. And that way you can, if it's a taking one on the chin, you take it on the chin and you figure out how to fix it. If like Darryl said, if it's somebody, if we win it and we do a great job, you can big up that employee, or you can champion that process and make and let you know you're doing something the right way. But ultimately, you need to know. I have a saying around here. It's called constant, consistent communication. And if we're not being consistent and constant with how we communicate and communicating, and we'll be in trouble. And that's just not with each other. That's just with our customers, fellow co-workers, everybody. So I mean, it's huge. That feedback is huge.
Last question for today, lightning round. If you'd each just take 30 seconds on this one to wrap it up, what is the one thing you'd recommend to our audience, the managers and dealers and retail people watching? One thing, one opportunity that you see ahead for our industry, whether it's at your dealership or whether it's, in general for fixed operations. Whoever would like to go first, the number one thing that you think is most important.
I believe that you gotta, in order to increase retention, you have to track the process. If you're not tracking the process, there's no way of moving that needle in a direction you want to move it to, because you'll be all over the place. So I truly believe in tracking, and once you track it, you can officially move that needle in the right direction.
All right, good. And I love it.
Communicate, just like I just said, constant, consistent communication. Just being consistent in your processes and being consistent and communicating with each other. Like I say it after every meeting, be consistent with talking to each other, to your technicians, to your customers. So just be consistent. Consistency in your communication is hard to lose, because if you're doing it wrong, you can get tired of hearing about it.
I love it. And consistency is hard, right? But it's the secret in doing it every day,
Yep.
consistently. Shawn, that leaves you.
Well, I think, that structure, organization, and process is the basis for any good foundation. But taking that a step further is to empower your employees to always do the right thing by the customer, right? Each one has their own little business going, whether it's a technician in his bay or an advisor at their desk. They have their own business with everything provided. You never get in trouble with me for doing the right thing by the customer. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with what you did, but I'm not going to scold you on it. We might come in and talk about it and how we would have done it differently. But the main thing is to take care of the customer and to make them feel empowered. And so they're coached, like Darryl said, not scolded, coached, and you're growing your employees, right? That's the future of our business. We got to grow these young folks. We got to educate the customers, and we just got to take care of people. right? I mean, that's what I want. Just take care of each other, whether they're work for us or they're coming in for us to work for them.
Great information. We'll leave it there. Everyone, fantastic. Congratulations on all your success. Best of success to all of you in 2023. We'll come back at the next event and we'll regroup. Michael Moore, thank you so much for all you do for our industry. Darryl, Terrell, thank you so much. Great work. And Shawn Butler, thank you so much for all you do for fixed operations.
Thank you, Ted, for having us. And thanks, Michael and Darryl. It's always a pleasure to get together with you guys.
Thank you guys for having us on. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as always.
Michael, Darryl,
Yeah.
and Shawn Butler here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.